Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Michael got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, break 3, the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby. And I'm your boy, the SuperBack Shawn Sierra, tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Like that page as well. And not only will you be following Sports Zone Chicago, but you'll be following Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, man. Get with the program. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button. All right, click the little bell next to it. That's the notification button. That'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. You get it? Got it? Good. All right. Now, if you're watching us on a mobile app, yay. If you didn't know, you better ask somebody, baby. We have our own mobile app. What are you doing? How do you not know this? All right, listen. So wherever you get your apps from, right? Listen, go there. All right. Whether I don't care if it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy, Montgomery Ward, Woolworth, Venture, wherever you get them from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on the go. So not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I'll tell you what, we give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. And now, if you're watching us on a Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. Yeah. What? Man, we have our own Roku channel. So listen, if you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. All right, do us a solid. Download Sports Zone Chicago's tile to your television. Put it right there next to Netflix, Amazon Prime, all right, Prime Video, HBO Max, actually it's just called Max, Hulu, Apple Plus, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Stars, Showtime. Just put it there. Put it right there, smack dab in the middle of all of them. You can watch us on the big screen. Heck, we're live on the big screen, right? Mickey Ficky now. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. Listen. What am I doing? Here we go. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Well, here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my little co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IG and you do it just for the gram, we'll just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. Listen, we have a phenomenal show, but we need you to get interactive with us. So listen, whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app, if you have a question or comment on that particular platform, it'll come up in the thread. And guess what? I'll put it on the screen. We'll talk about it. We'll incorporate it into the show. And you know what? And that's what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So, you know what? Bring them all. Your questions, comments, smart-ass remarks. Because ain't nobody scared over here. Nobody. And like The Rock said, don't sing it, baby. Just bring it. Just bring them. Just put it. We'll definitely have some fun with it. Let's see what's going on in the chat. We got some people already. It is getting lively already. Cornelius Squaw's in the house. What up, Cornelius? Happy, you're damn right, baby. It's TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. Patty Lara, thank you. Good morning, Mama. Thanks for tuning in. My man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr. He's in the house. He's in the house. That's what I'm talking about. Shawn Wall, it is Mickey Ficky Friday. TGI, baby. I love it. I love it. I love it. Levette Lee, she's in the house. Good morning, Ma. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot, but let me tell you something. I know a lot more of the usual suspects are going to chime in as the show goes on. All right, as the show goes on, more people are going to check it out. We have a phenomenal show. We're going to get started early at 9:30. Ricky O'Donnell from SB Nation is going to join us. We're going to talk a little bit Bulls basketball. They got the tourney starting today. The first ever, the inaugural in-season tournament begins today. They did a whole bunch of stuff. We'll talk about that. We'll try and get through that in the top of the morning. We have a lot of top of the morning segments, and we got to start at the bottom of the hour. So Ricky O'Donnell at 9:30 talking, and then at 10 o'clock, my man's in them, Kenneth Davis from the NBC Sports Chicago's Under Center podcast. He's the host of the Under Center podcast. He's going to join us. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, all Bears, from trades to no trades to firings to crazy stuff. So interesting. And let me tell you something. I think it's a done deal. I think it's a done deal that the Bears are going to stay with Justin Fields. And I'll tell you why. See, everyone's, they're going to move on from Justin Fields. They're going to move on from Justin Fields. No. Something that I have a feeling, and it's what I've seen, what I've compared him to, that I think that they've made their decision on Justin Fields. I think they're in on Justin Fields, and we'll talk about that today. And I'll tell you why. I will tell you why. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that. But listen, guys, because we're starting early. We're starting at the bottom of the hour with Ricky O'Donnell. We got to get it rolling. Keep rolling. So you know how we do, folks. The first segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
Man, oh man. Woo, we got to get it going. So what are we going to do first? Let's see. Let's do it. On Wednesday, the Bulls. All right, the Bullies. Bulls lose to the Dallas Mavericks, 114-105, down in Dallas. As you see, tough game for the Bulls. And Vooch, he led the way with a double-double, 21 points, 20 rebounds. Zach LaVine, he dropped 20. DeMar DeRozan had 16 and 7 dimes. Kobe White, you see pictured here, he dropped 10. Tough one for the Bullies. They're going up against, MVP, Luka Doncic. It's tough. All right. So they're off then. But the next top of the morning topic is the Bulls. They host the first ever in-season tournament as all 30 teams vie for the inaugural NBA Cup. They're hosting the Nets, Brooklyn Nets, today at the United Center. Tip-off at 7 p.m. You can catch that on NBC Sports Chicago. And if you want to listen to it on AM 1000. And here's the cool thing. Check the court out. They're going to have a court, an all-red court for this tournament. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks really, really cool. And you know what they did? They also dropped the new City Edition uniforms. Listen, these jokers are tight. I think this might be my favorite edition. These are the new City Edition jerseys. Here you see DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso. And the thing I love about it is that they pay homage. All right, they pay homage to the old barn, the Madhouse on Madison. I love it. Look at this. All right, the vertical Chicago reference. See, back in the day, the Chicago Stadium said stadium, it said Chicago, but it had stadium outside. So for their sign originally said it was a vertical sign, it said stadium, Chicago over it, but it said stadium. So that's an homage to that. And then on the patch, you see the Madhouse on Madison. That's what it's called. If you look on the right on the shorts, all right, the two parallel stripes run down the side, acknowledging the four-cornered windowed patterns on the old Chicago Stadium. All right, an intricate, detailed image of the Bulls logo, and it looks like it's painted. Why? If you see that on the left leg of the pant, it's because all the signs in the United Center, at the old Chicago Stadium, were hand painted. 3.5. And what was really cool was gate 3.5. I have a funny story. One of my guys, big shout out to let me take this down. Big shout out to my guy, Jay Yusa. Went to St. Rita Grammar School and St. Rita High School together. He was the gatekeeper, so to speak. Yeah, he worked gate 3.5, and that's the players' gate if you knew anything about the old stadium. And when I got transferred from the second balcony down to the main floor, I used to just hang with him. And that's where all the players would come in. The visiting team, in the bus, the home team, the Bulls, they'd all drive their own cars. And let me tell you, I was a junior in high school, and that was the best job I've ever had. And I can just tell you this. You name any basketball or hockey star in the late 80s. So this was 1987. All right. I met him. I saw him. Obviously, Michael. It was Scotty and Horace's rookie year. I've told you about these stories, but this kind of brought it back up again. Scotty and Horace, Magic, Bird, or the big three, Bird, McHale, Parrish, Barkley, Ewing, Olajuwon, you name it, Shawn Kemp. I saw him. I met him. It was awesome. Awesome, because I was just hanging out with Jay till it was time for me to be at my post. And it was the best, I'm telling you, the best job a kid can have. That spring, if you remember, that was 1988. That was the last time the NBA All-Star game was here until, 3 years ago? Okay. It was a phenomenal time, let me tell you. I loved it there. And you know what? I love the fact that they pay tribute and they honor the old barn, the Madhouse on Madison. I thought that was really, 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 really cool for them to do. We'll do this. Yesterday, next off the one topic, yesterday, a lot of my friends were excited. 7 years ago yesterday, the Cubs won the World Series 8-7 in 10 innings, ending a 108-year drought. You see the players, and they were down 3-1, and it was crazy. They won Game 5 to force 2 games back in Cleveland. I know one of my buddy, Graco. Big shout out to Graco Funes. He's a mortgage guy. But anyway, I know him and a buddy of his drove to Cleveland for games. He posted, I'm driving for game 6 and 7. And sure enough, all right, that was crazy. That was an insane time. And I'm not a Cub fan by any stretch, but you know what? I have a lot of close friends of mine that are Cub fans. So I actually felt happy for them because I know how happy I felt when my White Sox won it. And it was an amazing, amazing feeling for me. And, I give Cub fans shit a lot of the time. Most of the time, it was happy to see them. I remember 1984 when the ball rolled through Leon Durham's underneath his glove between his legs. My buddy Danny Schaller, Luggy, we call him. Luggy was at my house. Big shout out to Danny Schaller. I remember him crying. He was his whole family is Cub fans. So when they won it, I felt happy for them, my true Cub fans that I know, yeah, it was awesome. Check it out.
Done it before. Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Yeah, that was the courtesy of Fox. That was 7 years ago. A lot has changed in 7 years. Professor? He's the only one. Or him and Ian Happ, maybe only ones left. Wow. Yeah, the only one left. So, yeah, it was. Cub fans were having. I can't. I'm happy. I was happy for you. Very, very, very happy for Cub fans. Next top of the morning topic. The Texas Rangers. Right? They beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 5-0 on Wednesday to win their first World Series title.
In their 63rd season.
It's happened! The Texas Rangers win the World Series!
World Series in franchise history, and those clips courtesy of Fox. And you know what? It's a little bittersweet for me as a White Sox fan. You know why? Because of this guy right here. Okay? Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy was available last year to the White Sox at this time. And the White Sox thought, you know what? He's a 3-time World Series winning manager with the San Francisco Giants back in 2010, 2012, and 2014. Nah, let's not bring him in for an interview. Yeah, let's not bring him in for an interview. That's a good thing. And look what he's done with that team. Taking them to the World Series, captured the World Series crown. And this one hurts. Sox fans, it hurts. All right, because this shows you, this is everything we have to say about our franchise. This is typical. That was a guy that we wanted, that one of the guys that we could have had. You had Ozzie, you had Joe Girardi, you had Bruce Bochy, you had Joe Madden, you had all these guys you could interview. And you go with Pedro Grifol because you want a man you can control. Well, guess what? The Rangers didn't want a man they can control. They wanted a man who can lead them to a World Series title. That's what they wanted. And they got him. They spent money. You know, they added Max Scherzer in the this season, but that's probably the issue. The Bears, the White Sox weren't going to spend any money. And you know what? That's why you don't win championships. That's why we don't win championships. Because we won't spend money. You could have had that guy. That guy has a great baseball mind. How you don't even bring him in for an interview is beyond me. Beyond me. And he's sitting there now, a four-time World Series champion. Wow. Well, there was some good news. Yesterday, the White Sox got some good news. Liam Hendriks, as voted on by his peers, was named the American League Comeback Player of the Year. Okay, you know, he had lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and was able to make it back this year. Only to go out for Tommy John surgery, but he beat cancer. Going back from Tommy John surgery should be a piece of cake after he dealt with and beat cancer. But wait, there's more. Chicago had a clean sweep. Cody Bellinger was voted the National League Comeback Player of the Year. All right, it was a 1-year deal with a player option. And let me tell you something, he made himself a lot of money. I'm sure he's going to opt out of that. It was a 1-year prove-it deal. And he's making himself a lot of money. He made himself a lot of money. And, you know, the thing about Cody, he was hurt. He was injured. That was the only issue. He was injured for a couple of years. His shoulder was bothering him. And people thought he was done. Well, you know what? Change of scenery did him some good. And his agent, Scott Boras, is going to make sure that his man gets Mickey Ficky paid. And you know what? I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him at all. Congratulations to Liam Hendriks, and congratulations to Cody Bellinger on becoming the American League and National League, respectively, Comeback Players of the Year. That's awesome. That is awesome. Some sad news. You know, unfortunately. Oh, I didn't put it in there. I thought I did. Well, I can. Yeah, I did. Anyway, we'll do it again. You know, and unfortunately, there's some sad news to report. Legendary college basketball coach, General, as he was called, Robert Montgomery Knight. Bobby Knight passed away at the age of 83. He won at the time a record of 902 NCAA Division I basketball games, topping Dean Smith. That's been topped by Coach K now, one of his disciples. He won 3 national championships. 1976, his team was undefeated. 1981, the team was led by Isaiah Thomas. 1987, the team led by Keith Smart. And let me tell you, he was legendary. He was a guy, you talk about holding people accountable. You talk about, he is a throwback to that era of coaching, where it was about the coaches, it was about the team. It wasn't all about the players. It was tough. It's you know, today's a different time. So, but man, you know, the stories you're hearing about him, the one that said he made Michael Jordan cry in the Olympics in '84. No, he knew Michael was the best. But the thing is, he had to keep him focused. And oftentimes, when you get players who think they're good and they're very good, they tend to, not be focused when the competition is subpar. Bobby Knight and I can't remember who it was that was telling the story. It said that he goes, Jordan will deny it. He goes, but he was crying. He said Bob Knight ripped into him and said, you know what, that was the worst game of basketball I'd ever. Michael Jordan was 20. He said it was the worst game of basketball I'd ever seen from you. You're so much better than that. Blah 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 blah. He basically had to keep him focused so he wouldn't get too big for his britches. He had this uncanny way, a deliberate way, but uncanny way to take the focus off of his teams as they went into the NCAA tournaments. I remember the one with Calvert Chaney. He was mockingly spanking him. Okay, and then that caused an uproar about, now it looks like it's slavery and he's whipping a slave, something like that was. And the thing about it is that he would do things like that to take the pressure off his team. They wouldn't talk to the whole focus would be on what he had done and not his team. So his team was able to hide behind a lot of his antics that he did so they could just focus on basketball. All right. He was a great coach and man, truly, truly, truly will be missed. Yeah, definitely no run and gun. You went down, you played team basketball. Yeah. That's undefeated NCAA men's team. Yeah, because UNLV was there and then they lost to Duke. Yep. Brian Henry, good morning, Papa. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And let's finish up the last top of the morning topic before we go to break. Where'd it go? Which way did it go? Which way did it go? The Bears. The Bears travel to Nolens. All right. Chicago Bears travel to New Orleans this Sunday to take on the Saints. Kickoff is 12 noon. You can watch that game on Fox 32 here in Chicago, or you can listen to it on the Bears flagship station, AM 1000. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. Excuse me. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome our guy, Ricky O'Donnell from SB Nation. All right. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Brian Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face. Ugly.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Sixth in pace, 107 possessions in the first game, 101 in the second game, 103 possessions in the third game on Monday night as Levine 4 rebounds a game, but Drummond's been a factor in his time on the floor here, late first, early second. Caruso using an Andre Drummond screen to find some... Well, that Brooklyn game, no one had a lead bigger than 7. Tonight, no one has had a lead bigger than 8. DeMar DeRozan. And we see some... Well, it's Hardaway on the move. He just tied the game and dribbled into traffic there, and Drummond was able to steal it. Drummond's also always had quick hands defensively and been a good steals guy.
And get it to Timmy was exquisite.
Harder to put Chicago right back in front.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Bally Sports. Yeah, that was the Bullies on Wednesday down in the Big D, Dallas. Texas, unfortunately, falling to the Dallas Mavericks. That was a tough one, 114-105, I want to say, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 114-105. So they had the day off. Well, they had time off from then till tonight. So tonight they have the first in-season tournament. As I showed you before, I think this is pretty cool, right? And we'll talk about it with my first guest. He's from SB Nation. You've seen him here before. He's a good friend of the program. You can find him on Twitter at SBN_Ricky. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Ricky O'Donnell. Ricky, good morning, Papa. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
I am wonderful, my man. I am wonderful. We got this tournament going on. What the heck is this craziness going on? They're dropping different courts. You know, I was like, what? First of all, I think give me your opinion on the red court.
Yeah, I guess it's cool. I mean, I always think it's good when the sports leagues try new stuff that doesn't alter sort of like the fundamental components of the game. So to play basketball on a red court, I'm excited to see it. I'm going to the game tonight. I haven't been to a Bulls game in like 2 years, I think, because I lived in Iowa last year, so I didn't make it to a game last season. So I think it's going to be interesting, and I think that a lot of the courts around the league, it'll help at least let fans know that this game is different than the ones you're watching. It counts a little bit different in the standings, and that's what this in-season tournament. In terms of the in-season tournament in general, I like that the NBA is experimenting with it. I think, in basketball especially, there's such a rings culture where, like, if you don't win the championship, you're trash. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like in European soccer, there's so many championships you could potentially win, not just one championship. So I like the idea of putting more accomplishments out there for the teams, for fan bases. Are they pulling this off in the right way? I don't know. I mean, I would have done it a little bit differently, but I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited to see, how it shakes out. And yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
It should be. I really like that court. I think it's dope, but I think you're right. Being on a red court kind of reminds you similar to Boise State, where they have the blue turf up there. Now you're playing on a red court. I think it's cool. It's a nice little novelty act. And just for the buttermilk icing on the cake, they decided to drop their new city edition uniforms. Ricky, I think these are dope. Call me, dude. I don't know about you. Give me your take, but dude, I feel these are fire. I love the homage to the old barn, the original madhouse on Madison. You got the stripe, the vertical Chicago on the side. You know, they give you the history of why of the design of the shirt and why they did it that particular way. The Madhouse on Madison in the front, the kind of the Bulls thing was because everything was, all the signs were painted, so it wasn't always very sharp and perfect. I think these uniforms are fire. Give me your thoughts on them.
You're the first person I've heard say that they're good. These jerseys are getting dunked on around the internet and by local people. And you maybe convinced me. Now that I see them, I'm like, well, just first of all, the shorts are awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Bulls, send me a pair of those shorts if you want to. I would wear those in my, you know, middle-aged adult basketball pickup league every Monday. The jersey I thought was kind of boring, but I'm going to give it a chance. I want to see how it looks on the floor. I want to see how it sort of fits with the red court. And I'll say I'm open-minded. But in general, the reaction I've seen to this uniform has been very negative. So the fact that you're saying it's cool, you're making me give it a second chance, and yeah, we'll see how it looks tonight when they put them on.
Yeah, and part of it, it might be getting trashed by a lot of people who really didn't go to the stadium. All right, if you didn't go to the stadium and didn't understand, like there's a thing about it. Like I worked at the stadium as a junior in high school. The last time the NBA All-Star game here was 88, and I worked it. I started in 87-88 season. So it has a special place for me, and the, you know, just walk, you know, taking the bus down there and experiencing that was pretty cool. And I like how they did it. You know, it explains it. And if people saw this, like, oh, okay, I get it. It's not a new trash. Hey, it's better than Milwaukee. Did you see Milwaukee's? Now that is my guy, Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports is from Milwaukee. And we were texting yesterday. He's like, yeah, I don't like them. He goes, they're not bad. He goes, they're just like, eh. And I looked at him, I was like, yeah, they are just just blue. Like there's no rhyme or reason for the blue, nothing. At least here's tying the history of the team, of the franchise, because most of the people who go nowadays, this is the only stadium they've ever been to. Right?
Yeah.
Most of them, not all of them. So I get it, but I, you know, me being in my get off my lawn, you know, era, I like it. I think it's gonna pop with the red and black. I think it's really cool. And let me know how it does turn out, because I'm anxious to see how you know how this game does play out. What do you think of this tournament? I mean, there's like, it seems like kind of like the World Cup. They're in like a group play, and they got to go play everybody in their group. And then do you have a little more information on it? Or clarify a little for me, because I thought it was kind of weird. I'm thinking World Cup.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's very similar to what the WNBA does in something called the Commissioner's Cup.
Mm-hmm.
When the WNBA does the Commissioner's Cup, as a fan, I'm like, why should I care about this? Like, I just don't really understand sort of the incentive of it. So I do think that, you know, by making the courts different, by having the teams wear their city edition jerseys, that hopefully people watching the games can like recognize, like, oh, this one counts for something else in the standings. I think with anything new, it's going to take people a few years to like latch onto it. Like, you remember when they started the play-in tournament, LeBron was saying this should be abolished. Mark Cuban was saying, like, this is an affront to competition. And after a few years, I think we could look at the play-in tournament and say the play-in tournament's dope. Like, the play-in tournament's really cool. It puts more pressure points in the standings. It gives, you know, greater stakes to some of these games, like that Bulls-Raptors play-in tournament game last year. What a fun game that was. We had DeMar DeRozan's daughter screaming, and like an exciting game that came down to the wire. And, you know, the Bulls almost beat the Heat, who went to the finals in that other play-in game. So I think the play-in tournament has proven to be a good idea. Will the in-season tournament be a good idea? I'm willing to give it a chance. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I would have done it differently, though, and I'll give you my quick sales pitch on how I would have done it. I think what's really great about basketball is tournament-style basketball, single elimination basketball. Whenever you get a Game 7 in the NBA, it's awesome.
Yep.
The caliber of play in March Madness is like usually not that good, but we love it because there's a bracket and we can bet on it, and it's fun to watch teams fight their way through the bracket. And I wish they would have done that. I wish that this would have been a season opening, single elimination, 32-team tournament. Now, you'd need 2 more teams. You could bring in anyone. You could bring in the EuroLeague champ, the G League champ, the G League Ignite prospect team, whatever it is. You could give, you know, the teams that made the NBA finals last year a bye if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a cooler way to do it, where just like start the year with a 32 team knockout style bracket, and everyone just gets to watch, the first game of the year be a game that has like, knockout implications. So that's just my take on it. The way they're doing it, we'll see if it's cool. I'm willing to give it a chance, but I think either way, it's going to take fans a few years to decide if they really like it or don't like it.
You know what? I'm with you. You know what? It's okay to try something new. If it doesn't work, but you know what? You just sit idly on your hands, and not do anything and just expect the product to continue to draw in revenue and bring in all the people especially people with short attention spans. All right. And things like that. I think it's something new, something different. And I'm cool with it, and if, like I said, if it doesn't work in a couple of years, cool. You try it and then you go try something else. Like in the All-Star game. Remember, it wasn't just East-West now. It was the draft. It was LeBron and Giannis. All right. They started picking their own teams. I thought that was cool. Just something different. If it worked out, if it works, cool. If it doesn't, it didn't. And now they're thinking about going back to it, but it was something different. I just always change, always adding, and the cool, like you said, the cool part about it, you can always go back to it. So but let's get back to this team itself. Looks like same old, huh? Well, they kind of ran it back with the majority of the squad from last year. They added a couple guys, Javon Carter. They added the 3-point guy. Craig, there you go. What are you seeing with this team so far? And should Bulls fans expect anything different or much different than last year?
I think this team sucks. Through 5 games, I just don't think they're any good, and I don't think they deserve to be together much longer. Like, I was pretty optimistic heading into the season. They won 40 games last year, but their point differential was of a team that maybe could have won 44 games. And I thought Carter and Craig were good signings at the minimum. The minimum for Craig. Carter got about $20 million. So I thought, hey, the Bulls, maybe 45, 46 wins. It's not great, but it could give us something fun to watch during the winter when it's cold and we're all trapped indoors. Not the worst thing in the world. That was my take on the Bulls coming into the season. And through 5 games, I can already tell this team hates playing together. It looks so much like the same malaise we saw from this group last season. And I think that, it's reaching the end of the line. Like Arturas Karnisovas, Jerry Reinsdorf, they don't want to rebuild. They don't want to blow it up. They aspire for mediocrity. They want to be the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. They want to be the 7th seed to get that playoff ticket revenue, to keep the building full, to make sure the Bulls aren't like a national embarrassment like they were under Jim Boylan. Well, guess what? You lose by 20 on your home floor after the first game, and the biggest story in the league is the Bulls having a players-only meeting with record speed after the first game. It looks like we're back to an embarrassment, Shawn. I do think that the team is going to be like relatively competent. Like, I don't think they're going to be one of the 5 to 7 worst teams in the league. Okay. Although I guess it's the Bulls' destiny to finish with the 7th draft pick. Every year they actually own their draft pick. So that's where I would project them to finish right now.
So and I get another person who doesn't move the needle for us in the draft.
Sure. Yeah. And the Vegas line coming into this season was 36.5 wins. I thought that was way low. I was like, they won 40 last year and they sucked and they got better. So they should win more than that. After 5 games, I'm like, I think Vegas nailed it. Like, this team is not that good. They suffer from the same problems they've always suffered from. And what really gets me is that DeRozan, Levine, and Vooch, like, that is the team. And these guys do not play well together. It doesn't look like they enjoy playing together. And I think that I already get the sense from the post-game quotes, from some of their interactions, that they're already all waiting to get traded somewhere else. And I think anyone who watches this team and the players on the team are like, all right, let's blow this thing up. But Arturas doesn't want to because Jerry doesn't want to. And so we're sort of stuck in this weird ground right now where, like, the Bulls don't have any flexibility. They don't have any building blocks on the team. It's like, what are we building towards with this season? Nothing. It's just a wasted season. We get to watch Patrick Williams average 3 points a game, and, like, this is our brightest prospect. Besides for that, the young players on the roster are, like, terrible. Dalen Terry is totally unplayable. Julian Phillips, I mean, we'll see, but I didn't like that draft pick. He's very raw. He's not going to contribute this year, I don't think, at all. Kobe White, people were really expecting him to take a jump this year. I was skeptical that would happen. And I would say through 5 games, I have been correct in that. He looks bad. He hasn't been shooting the ball well. So eventually the shots will drop. Kobe will shoot 36% from 3 like always. But he just doesn't move the needle enough, and he kills the defense. So to me, this team sucks. They got to get blown up. They got to all get traded. And I just hope that, the Bulls are willing to take their medicine and to give Chicago a chance at a team that can compete for a championship down the line. Because what the Bulls are doing right now is they're striving for mediocrity, and they're not actually building towards anything. And, like, if you're not either chasing the championship or at the bottom part, trying to build up so you can eventually chase the championship 3 or 4 years from now, then what the hell are you doing? And unfortunately, I have no faith in Karnisovas. I think he's delusional in a sense that he thought that this would work. But really, it's like the upside of this was never that good. And like, as a fan, I could be like, well, if they won 46 games, that'd be a fun team. You know who seems really happy with their team right now? The Knicks fans. They won 47 games. They won a playoff series. Do the Knicks have any chance to win the championship? No. But they're a fun team. They make the city proud. The games are appointment TV. They could win any night. And the stadium is certainly full every night in Madison Square Garden. So I kind of thought, let's be a Knicks-style team. Let's be better than the Knicks. Like, when those two teams play, that'll be fun. I can root against the Knicks like I did in the 90s. We can hate the Knicks again. But you know what, man? This team doesn't have the juice. It's very obvious. I think that they just don't like each other. They don't play well together. And they got to get blown up. So that's my 2 cents.
Last question before we let you go, Ricky. I'll always love talking Bulls basketball with you. And we're joined by Ricky O'Donnell from SB Nation talking Bulls basketball here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. This we need to shoot more threes thing. So it came out firing. Well, they shoot like 75 game 1. No, it was like 40. No, a little hyperbole there. But it had like 43, 45, something like that, 47, somewhere in there, in the 40s. And then they missed a lot of them, majority of them. And then it just started to seem to go down. It seemed like they wanted to get involved in the modern NBA of shooting threes, but they don't have the guys to shoot threes. What are you going to do? Is you're just going to have people like DeMar stop shooting threes. Stop shooting threes, DeMar. Zach needs to shoot threes off the pass, off the catch and shoot. He's got to do that. Other than that, him, Kobe, Patrick Williams hasn't developed. That's a waste. This is his 4th year in the league. Like, you figure he would have got so much better, but I think all his problems are up there. What do we have any shot at all of at least being a decent 3-point shooting team, or is it just going to be another thing to the Bulls laughing at our attempt to be current in the modern NBA?
The only stat I care about for the Bulls this year is 3-point attempts per game, because they were dead last 2 years ago. They were dead last year. And it's like, guys, you can't play basketball like it's 1997 anymore. And like shooting, I'm glad you asked me about this, because I have a rant to go on here. So there's 2 things with shooting. There's variance and there's sustainability. So shooting has great variance on a game-to-game basis. When the Bulls played the Pacers a couple nights ago, the Bulls shot 17 threes in that game, which is hilarious, because last year they shot 28 per game and they were dead last in the league. So to shoot 17 is like truly some like 1997 stuff. The Pacers shot like almost 50 threes in that game, and the Pacers could not buy a bucket. The Pacers were bricking. What happens? The Bulls win because the Pacers couldn't hit a shot. Mm-hmm. So that is the variance of single game shooting. But similar to baseball, Shawn, and you'll see this in, the baseball playoffs, you do not build a baseball team to win, a best of 7 series. You build a baseball team to be good over the course of 162 games. Because in baseball, there's so much variance and so much luck that can happen in a single game or a single set of games. Mm-hmm. So the smart approach is to build a sustainable strategy going forward over the course of, the long season, 162 games. And to me, that's what shooting is. The Bulls have to shoot threes. They have to take minimum 34 or 35 threes a game to even have a chance to compete. There will be some nights when they will miss those shots and they will lose the game because of it. But taking that changing your shot profile in that way, that is the sustainable strategy to long-term success. Because let me tell you, last year, the Bulls had a lot of games where they took 25 threes and they got outscored by 38 points from the three-point line at the end of the game, and they never even gave themselves a chance to win. So the sustainable strategy is you have to take threes because all these other teams are bombing threes. And you are right, Shawn. The Bulls don't have good shooters. Why should they take threes? Well, because you got to. Because three is worth more than two, and because the rest of these teams have realized that you need to up the three-point volume. And it's like playing with your left hand tied behind your back if you're only going to take 2-point shots when the rest of these teams are taking 3-point shots. You know, they played Dallas the other night. I thought the Bulls played well in that game. Kyrie Irving out. The Bulls lose that game. Why'd they lose? Because Grant Williams hit 7 3-pointers and because Tim Hardaway Jr. hit 7 3-pointers. Are those guys great 3-point shooters? No, but they took 10 of them and they were hot and they went in. And so the Bulls got to keep shooting threes. I don't care if they miss them. I really don't, because there's no upside for the team by taking 20 threes a night, 25 threes a night. I mean, if they did that, they would have the worst offense in the league by a mile. Last year, they finished 24th out of 30 in offensive efficiency, and they were 4th in the whole league in field goal percentage. You're 4th in field goal percentage. You're 24th best offense. How does that make sense? Well, it makes sense because there's a 3-point shot and a 2-point shot, and your team only takes 2-point shots. Now, I do think the Bulls, there's other ways to address it. One of it's offensive rebounding.
Yeah.
The Bulls have finally fixed the offensive rebounding. Last year, worst offensive rebounding team in the league. You're like bottom 3, I think. Torrey Craig, great signing. I love Torrey Craig. Is Torrey Craig the only guy who's like exceeded expectations so far? Just having him come in, he's not great, but he knows his role. And he plays to it well, He's like pretty limited in terms of what he can do off the dribble, but he just goes and gets the ball as a rebounder, and he can kind of make a spot-up 3. He's not scared to shoot it. So I think that, they got to shoot threes. There'll be games where they miss them, and they'll lose because of it. But there's, if they didn't take the threes, they would, automatically lose. So
here you're giving yourself a chance.
That's my take on it, is that shooting – high volume 3-point shooting has a lot of variance game to game, but is a sustainable strategy over the long haul of an 82-game regular season. You got to shoot threes. Every time, I love Stacey King because I think he's just a fun, entertaining announcer, but him constantly saying that we need to pound the ball to Vooch in the post, I'm like, bro, what year do you think this is? That is not a good strategy in terms of offensive efficiency. You could have him enter the ball in the post to Vooch and then kick out. But unfortunately, the Bulls don't have good cutters and they don't have good shooters, which is why I'm telling you that this team stinks. It needs to be broken up. But I'm in favor of shooting threes. Just shoot the threes. That's what I say.
I hear what Stacey's saying, because at least let Vooch go to work and have people at least collapse on him. May have him make a couple baskets early, so they got to collapse on him and then hit the threes. But then it goes back to my original question, do you have sustainable 3-point shooters? Do you have guys who can just wake up out of bed and hit you, 6 out of 10 threes? And I don't think we have those type of players on our team, because if we did, I think going into Vooch is good. I think it is perfect, because now you let him go to work and make that double team come. So now Vooch, as we know, is a good facilitator. Now can hit the open guy. But who's going to hit the open guy if we don't have a guy who can consistently knock down 3-pointers? And what's the purpose of going inside out? There's really none.
Yeah, and I think what Vooch would like is watch the way the Kings play around Domantas Sabonis. The Kings had the best offensive efficiency in league history last year, and they mostly ran the team through Sabonis, who really played the way Joakim Noah used to play under Thibodeau after Rose got hurt, where they would, sort of let Noah facilitate the offense as the center. I think that's how Vooch wants to play. There's 2 problems with that. One, the Bulls don't have good enough shooters around him. The Kings have all these shooters. They're all flying around screens, hitting threes. You don't even know what's happening. And then the other thing is that the Bulls don't have good cutters. There was a stat last year that Zach LaVine did not score on a cut off a pass by Nikola Vucevic the whole year. How is that even possible?
What?
Yeah, that stat was going around last year. Or like if he did,
Oh
it was
my
like
goodness.
minimally.
Wow. Like you would think that's the whole thing. Vooch, you get it. You get it at the high post, foul line extended. All right, DeMar cut, Zack cut, everyone cut. All right, move and or get out of the way and let him go to work. But either one of those two things, let him go to work, or you guys cut, let him facilitate. And the fact that Zach LaVine had minimal, baskets off of a Vooch assist is insane. Just insane.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
so,
nuts.
I like Zach. I think Zach's really good. Also, that James Harden trade to the Sixers, trade Zach to the Sixers. Like, I think Zach would be awesome on the Sixers. And, they got to blow this team up. This team stinks.
I do
I don't
too.
think they're good. So,
and last question, this for real. P. Will, is he got to go because Marshawn thinks he's got to go? Because I went on a rant on P. Will 2 weeks ago. I just think, you know what? It's your fourth year in the league. You've been in the league 3 years. Like your nuts should have dropped at some particular point in that 3 years, dude. I don't see any growth. I still see trepidation when Zack and DeMar on the court. Except, we've seen you take over games. We've seen you be aggressive. We've seen you rebound. We've seen you hit threes. We've seen you control games. But when Zack and DeMar on the court, oh no, go ahead, you can have it. I'll just sit back and do nothing and not even rebound. It boggles my mind. It pisses me off when someone that talented just says, go ahead, you can have it. No, real ballers, don't matter who's on the God bless the court. I'm gonna show you what I got. And he, for whatever reason, defers. And that I'm done with him personally.
Part of me agrees with you, Shawn, that you just, all you can ask for as a player is to get minutes. And he's gotten a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
So like, all right, dude, let's see you make an impact. But also, man, we just did this with Lauri Markkanen and Wendell Carter. And as soon as they left, they turned into really good players. Lauri Markkanen was all NBA last year. He was top 15 in the entire NBA. The guy's a legitimate stud. Wendell Carter looks really good in Orlando. I've been watching a lot of Orlando. I watched the Orlando-Utah game last night. Watched Carter and Markkanen square off. Carter actually broke his finger on the last play of the game. So he's going to miss about 6 weeks now. But he looked great in that game. Patrick Williams. All right. So I think Patrick Williams brings a lot to the table defensively. He guarded Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the first game. He guards Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum. And he has the build that you need to play NBA defense. And I think right now, Patrick Williams is a good defensive forward. He's 22 and he's already good on the defensive end. He loses some value because he doesn't defensive rebound, but the Bulls are a very good defensive rebounding team. So I would say like he's got to be boxing out or doing something because the team rebounds well defensively, even though Pat doesn't get him.
His guy just doesn't get him.
Yeah. Other guys get him. Vooch gets him. Offensively, I think the weakest part of Patrick Williams' skill set is as a spot-up shooter. And the way the team is constructed, what they need out of their four-man is a spot-up shooter who can shoot with volume. And Patrick Williams has been a 40% three-point shooter over the last couple of years, but he can't really shoot it with volume. The defining play of Patrick Williams' career is like the ball getting swung to him and he's like a little bit open and he won't shoot. And he'll like dribble it off his foot or travel or try to drive. Yep. There's so many different ways that a smart head coach and a smart organization would be trying to develop Patrick Williams offensively. So it's easy to sit here and be like, well, Patrick Williams sucks. But the reality is that the Bulls drafted a developmental prospect and refused to develop him. And so I find myself almost apologizing for Pat a little bit because his offensive start to the season has been garbage. There's no way around it. He has sucked to start this year. The last game, especially against Dallas, he was just like so horrible, and it was an eyesore to watch. But we know over the course of his career, he's been close to a 40% three-point shooter on low volume. We know that he could do a little bit off the dribble. He could do a little bit like as a roll man. They haven't even tried him as the screener in a pick and roll this year. How about let's do that, Billy? And I just think there's definitely a better offensive role to maximize Patrick Williams. I think Billy doesn't do it. I don't think Billy's a good offensive head coach at all. I mean, the numbers show that. They have the 25th best offense with 3 offensive stars leading the team. Like, how is that even possible? Billy's a great defensive coach. They finished with the 5th best defense last year. How? I don't know. But a terrible offensive coach. And I think that the Bulls have done nothing organizationally to develop Patrick Williams, and the demonization of Patrick Williams at the start of this season is so similar to what we've seen with Carter and Markkanen, who have gone on to greater success other places. Pat has been disappointing. I agree with you to a large extent, Shawn, that Patrick, just do something, bro. But can we put him in position to succeed? What have we done to help Pat? Instead of asking, what has Pat done to help us? I feel like JFK right now. And it's just disappointing. I would still sign Patrick Williams to an extension. You need 6'7", 230-pound guys. He defends everyone. He can kind of shoot. I'm not saying he's going to get a ton of money. Like, he's not going to get any money. If you look at what he's doing right now, guys get paid off points per game. Jabari Parker said you don't get paid for defense. He was right.
He did.
And Patrick Williams plays defense. And you need a four-man like that. So I'd definitely sign him. I don't know how much money he's going to get. And then try to hire a coach who could develop him a little bit. I don't think he's going to be an offensive star at all. And that sucks because the upside of the team rested on Patrick Williams becoming an offensive star. It's not going to happen. But he should be able to get 15 points a game.
Should.
And even that, like, he's not Kawhi Leonard if he does that. You know, Kawhi Leonard gets 28 points a game.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's so much more untapped in him that the Bulls have failed him a bit organizationally. You know, if he was in Utah right now with Will Hardy as his head coach, would he be balling the way Markkanen is? I don't know if he'd be as good as Markkanen, but I think he'd be able to get you 15 a game and play good defense. And that's a really valuable player. And also, I don't think he's going to make that much money anymore because he can't score. So keep Patrick Williams. That's my hot take of the day. And the Bulls have failed him. But also, Pat, like, you kind of only got yourself to blame, too. You got to do something. I'm kind of playing both sides of the coin here, but I still believe that there's talent there. He's 22. There's rookies older than him this year. And he's already good on one end of the floor. He's a good defensive player. So
hopefully it gets developed somehow, some way. Rick, great stuff as always, buddy. I appreciate it. Let everybody know where they can find you online.
Yeah, you can find all my work at sbnation.com. I got a new Victor Wembanyama story up there today. You can go check that out. I was publishing that as Shawn texted me to jump on the stream. And you can listen to my Bulls podcast, Cash Considerations. You can find that on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. So that's where I'm at. Great stuff, buddy. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, that's Ricky O'Donnell. Oh, shoot, my man. Let's take a quick break. He jumped off quick. Let's take a quick break. And my man, because we got to introduce you properly. We got to bring you in properly. That's my man Ken Davis on the other side of the break. Keep it locked right here, peoples. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
To run for 17, back he goes. Here comes Chubb. There goes the ball. Touchdown! Jones will block at the left tackle. Time for Fields. Now he'll accelerate to get the first down. Great tackles, and he's off to the races. Oh, he got a terrific block.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
Well, welcome. How surprised are you that you're here right now? How do you feel about this landing spot?
I'm grateful, blessed, happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here, ready to get to work.
Obviously, you're playing on the last year of your deal. Have you spoken with the Bears at all about a potential contract extension yet?
I'm sure my agents in them are talking about something, but I I'm not really in it right now. Just ready to get to work. Yeah, I mean, it's thought about. Obviously, a player always wants to have security playing the sport that we playing. But I mean, I'm sure everything will work itself out. Yeah, I'm just taking it one day at a time. Everything is happening kind of fast right now. Just waiting for it to slow down, and we hit the ground running when we get there.
My man, that is a new guy. That's the sackster, the run stopper. He does it all. But you know what? We're going to bring my man in right. My man, he's the host of the Undercenter podcast on NBC Sports Chicago. It's Ken Davis time. Papa, how are you, man? Long time no talk, bro.
I'm good, man. How are all y'all doing over here, man?
We're doing good. We are doing well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking.
No, it's good to see you. It's good to see the chat lit. Talking Bulls basketball and Pete Will. I'm laughing like everything's good where I work, but I'm just giving my laugh out. Oh man, that Bulls basketball.
I went on a rant a couple weeks ago. I went off on him, Cody Whitehair, Justin Fields, Yo-Yo, Tim Anderson.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot.
I was like, grow the hell up, bro. Like, everybody, grow up. Like, stop. You know what I mean? Like, you're professionals. Like, get it done. You know what I mean? Like, you're, and I wouldn't give a shit if they weren't that talented. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't care if you suck. I'm like, I'm not going to force you to be a superstar if you don't have that talent. These guys are talented, but you just, you want to go shoot videos. You want to, take routine ground balls. Off.
Wait, hold up. You finally snapped a yo-yo 5 years later for dancing in the streets for the jumper, the rumper. 5 years later.
Leave that alone. That was still tight.
Oh God. Oh, the good old days. The good old days. The good old days.
Man, dude, but it was just like, dude, you got Cody Whitehair. Like, if you can't, how difficult is it to snap a goddamn ball? How difficult is it?
At this point, the way that you do it, that there's going to be a surprise 4 times a game, but yet you're still doing it the same way.
And that's Eberflus, that's Whitehair. Like, just in case you got moved from guard to center.
That's Chris Morgan.
Chris Morgan. Like, it doesn't take, dude. It literally takes 10 minutes a day, all off season. 10 minutes a day. Get it. If you don't have, and you got enough people back there at Hallis Hall, you got people there. Just put a ball. Sure. Have a guy with 4 footballs and snap. Give me one. Snap. Boom. Snap. It's like an assembly line, and that's it.
He should be practicing anyway because he's the backup if he's not the starter. So you never know when you got to go. Yeah, I'm totally with you like that. Yeah, that right there is maddening to say the least.
Yeah. So let's talk about this team, man. They bring in Montez Sweat. Give me your thoughts on the trade. I personally like it. A lot of people, it's a divisive one. A lot of people like he's first of all he's older than Chase Young. He's in the last year of his deal. Now he's got all the leverage. Now he's this and what were we saying before? Oh man, it was Chase Young, it was Montez Sweat, it was Brian Burns. You got to get one of them. All right, we get one of them. Oh, we got the wrong one. What the hell's wrong? What's wrong with people?
Well, one, Brian Burns at this point wasn't going to get shopped out, so you weren't getting him. And the thing is, Chase Young is the sexier option, but that knee was shredded. And it would be so Chicago to bring him in and give him a 4-year contract, and he's maybe at his optimal level 2 years out of that 4 years because that knee, when it's going like that, though he just got back. Think about how long ago it was that he was playing that rookie year like that, and now he's just showing you the flash that he had back then, and he's still not all the way back. So for me, and I said this before the trade deadline, I thought it was going to be Montez Sweat. I said it the day before. I thought it was going to be Montez Sweat because it made more sense. Yeah, he's a couple years older. He's still young enough. I saw someone destroying this trade yesterday on Pat McAfee's show, a clip from it, right? And he was going on and on about how players go to the highest bidder, which that makes sense. And of course, he's been a general manager. He knows more about this than me. I would differ to a degree that sometimes if you don't look like an attractive option, I'll leave some millions on the table because I want to go someplace where I have a chance to win, or it's a place that I prefer to play. Like we know that he wanted to go to Atlanta, speaking of Montez Sweat, since he's from that region. I think I like the trade. You had to do something, and you can't fix everything in the draft. Yannick Ngakoue, we see why he was on the streets. He hasn't been the player that you thought you were going to bring in. You knew he had limitations as far as run stopping, but you haven't seen the guy get to the quarterback. And I'm not just talking about sacks. I'm talking about pressures also.
Just get there. Not even get shoved by him. You know what I'm saying? By the offensive lineman. Like, damn, dude.
So
that way.
So if let's just say hypothetically, the Bears are out of the top 2 and they can't draft a quarterback if that's the direction that they're going to go. Let's say that maybe you're high enough to get Marvin Harrison Jr., but maybe you're not. You were probably going to get, and you should look towards those trenches and get another offensive lineman, preferably a left tackle. And you have to do something on the line. And I don't know if there are 3 techniques that are that high in this upcoming draft. I know there weren't a lot of pass rushers that people looked at in this upcoming draft. Like, I have to have him and he'll settle this issue as far as pressuring the offense from the outside. So this was the way that you had to go about getting it. We'll see. I think it depends on how much, regardless, he's going to get paid. How much he gets paid, what they do, if they can bring Jaylon back or not. Because I think I'll put it like this: if you are able to hold on to Jaylon and sign him, that's nice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's because now you have a semblance of, all right, we got close to blue chippers on 2 levels. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't have that Bears. The only guy close to a blue chip is DJ Moore. Outside of that, you can't really give me anybody else that you'd be like, all right, right now, that's a top 10 player, perhaps at their position. You know what I'm saying? Now you have a Montez Sweat who's somewhere around number 10 as far as edge rushers. You have a Jaylon Johnson who is probably this year close to the number 7, 6, 5 as far as cornerbacks in the league. And saying that, you don't usually have the strong top tier like you have with Jalen Ramsey was younger, Patrick Peterson. You know, like you don't have that strong tier, so it bumps Jalen up a tad bit. But if they can pull that off and they got cash, I'm not mad about it. You got to make some moves, and I'll say this too. I do like the fact that Ryan Poles, who I get on, and I'm not trying to absolve him of his mistakes, messed up last year in trading away that pick for Chase Claypool, and then doubled down this year for a player who doesn't have the red flags that Chase Claypool has, but also still knowing some people is going to use that storyline as a reasoning to discredit him from going ahead and making this trade, and he did it anyway. So you got the guy that you wanted, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well he plays. Now you need to go out and somehow try to solve the 3 technique issue, because clearly you haven't, because you'll be playing those youngsters more often if you thought that they were playing well enough to get it done as far as penetrating and getting into that gap. But I like it, Shawn, to be honest. I'm not upset with it. I like it.
I do too. And here I think it's it's much safer than Chase Young. I think Chase Young's a much better player, a lot more explosive, as you said, sexier, easily. But he's also his injury, his 67 games for Montez Sweat, 67 starts. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's here. Like, I don't give a damn if you know how explosive you are. I mean, hell, we got Ball, who was one of the best defensive point guards in the NBA and facilitators in the NBA, and he hadn't played in 2 years. So what good are you with all your talent if you can't play and perform? So I'm gonna and then this guy's good at the run. So he might not be excellent, but he's very good. And if you can get a whole bunch of very good guys, and you may not have that one big superstar, I'll take that collective over having a superstar that you're worried, is he going to play? Is often his injury history? Yeah, I'm more than happy with this. People are talking about leverage, and you got to pay him. First of all, it ain't your money. All right, that's for starters. I love what they're going to spend this. First of all, it ain't your money. Second of all, they have a shitload of it. They got about 100 plus, maybe 110 of money. So if you want to pay, and guess what? That's the cost of doing business in this league. You got to pay your players. All right, you got to pay your players. And truth be told, I love it. You know what? He does have leverage right now. Okay, and that's okay, because if he comes and first of all, he's got as many sacks as the whole defensive line this year. So if he just doubles it, just do exactly what you did in the second half of the year that you did in the first half, you have 13 sacks, which might be what the rest of our defensive line has.
Right.
Okay, and so now he'll hit double-digit sacks, and people talk about, well, he never had double-digit sacks. I'm like, sacks aren't the most important thing. If you get a quarterback off the spot, if you have to move him, if that ball gets thrown out a half second too soon, a half second too late, I said that is the thing, not just the sack. And that's how you know. Like, I know I can't talk football with you because, like, well, he doesn't have that many sacks. I'm like, I can't talk football with you. Next.
Also, the thing when you're talking sacks, the thing is this. I talked to Shawn Merriman about a month ago. And prior to that, we talked to.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good. He did lights out for me. I got him to do lights out. But I asked him this question because we had talked to this reporter from Penn State or something, James Naveau and myself. And we were talking about pressures. And the thing is, how these offenses are set up for the most part, you can't get to the quarterback as often as you used to be able to get to the quarterback. So pressures are a real nice indicator of how well you're doing your job when you're talking about those front four guys. I'll say this too, when you're talking about leverage. I'm not by no means taking away common sense. If I trade for you and it's your last year, you have leverage, but I can tag you. So how soon do you want to get to that guaranteed money for safety? Do you want to play
3 years?
Exactly. Do you want to play it out where, just like you said, I could tag you 3 years, just damn it, that's a lot of money. But the thing is this, you're not Kirk Cousins. All right. You're not Lamar Jackson, where there's rules in play to protect you more than any other player on the field. You're a defensive end and you can get hurt. And once you get hurt, that money may dry up significantly. So when you're saying, oh, all the leverage is on his side, no, because at 27 going on 28, I can make sure you don't hit free agency till you're 30. So do you want this guaranteed money I'm going to give you now? And I'm going to give you a couple more years and you're going to be straight, or do you want me to tag you twice? So yes, he has leverage, but this is the place he's going to end up playing for the next few years, unless they sign him and then the Bears are so bad they trade him off because they know they're not ready. But he's going to be here, man. Like
he is.
To me,
you know why?
Go ahead. Yeah.
You know why? Here it is. Franchise tag for defensive end is 19 mil, 19.7. So you want to sit and you know what I'm saying? You want to act crazy? Bet. We'll tag you for next year to probably about 20 mil. I am more than comfortable paying that joker 20 mil. Because me personally, I'll give you $4 for $1. All right, $4 for $1. All right, I start 4 at 85 at 80. 4 for 84. Yeah, 4. So 21 mil. 4 for 84. I'll start. All right, and if you get a little trade, okay, we'll go to 4 to 100. But start there. And if not, cool. We're hitting you with 20 with the tag. Hit your 20 with 21 the next year with the tag. 22 the next year with the tag. And guess what? You would have had a hell of a lot more money if you'd have just done that initially. And
safety.
And safety, because you know what, at that 80 something, you're probably with 50, 60 mil guaranteed. That's just signed right then and there. Boom. That's it. Come on, man. So I like it. I think he's going to do a really good job in this organization. I know he wants to go to Atlanta, but man, I think we'll be a good spot for him.
He can live there in the offseason.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. Hell yeah. Go down there, baby. Go
leave there in the offseason. But you're going to be a Bear. Guess what, buddy? You're going to be a Bear. All right.
For the next minimum 3 seasons. So just get used to it. Get used to our pizza, our hot dog rules. Get used to all that shit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Jaylon Johnson situation? Talk to me about that. How are you looking at that? Because he was a little salty about it. I like Jaylon Johnson. I do like his he's kind of frank. He's up front and forward. They asked him at the presser, "Are you surprised to be here?" He said, "Yeah, I am." And rumor had it that he's not going to negotiate anymore. So give me your thoughts on the Jaylon Johnson thing, because I do like him, but we're at an impasse, and you only got one tag.
Oh yeah, if you got to put the tag on Montez Sweat if you come to this offseason and Jaylon Johnson is going to sign. I like Jaylon Johnson a lot. I think this is where we're falling in line, and I'm talking as I'm thinking. All right, so everybody just bear with me.
Pun intended.
I don't think exactly was that pun unintended. I don't think Jaylon Johnson is elite. I think he's a really good cornerback. I don't think he's elite. But are we crossing the road to where, I know he's not one of Ryan Poles, but he's a Bear player that is good in that locker room. And yeah, you may want to get him at 15 and under. Should you just tell him to set 16 and a half good enough and move on with it? Because you may not be able to find that guy in every draft. Because look, you're being honest, we still don't know who Tyreek Stevenson is.
Right.
This is year one. We're saying that next year he's going to improve and take another step. What if this is kind of where he's at? The same for Terrell Smith. So even though one thing that we've seen from Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham is the fact that they can draft DBs, none of them may end up being as good as Jaylon Johnson, and you have money right now. Now, it'd be different if they were strapped for cash and you're like, yo, look, we only got enough for one big contract. We got 2 young cornerbacks. I'm going to draft another 2 young quarterbacks. I wouldn't like it, but I would understand. At this point where you got holes on your defense, you don't know at safety what's going to happen because Eddie Jackson may be over. So you need as many good players in the backside as you could possibly have. So you can't just let them walk out the door. So yeah, I would prefer if he was getting like 14 and a half. I would think like, yeah, they got a nice deal. That's a nice deal for both sides or whatever. But you may just have to give him some more. Like it just because you may not be able to find him and just eat it, because think about it. It's gotten to the point now that if he doesn't want to talk with you, period, that's an issue, especially if, and again, Poles is, regardless if he's being forthcoming, he still could be capping, right? But if you say you like him as much as you want to, and if he left the building, you would want a replacement as far as draft capital that's high enough to acquire the same type of player, then man, do what you need to do and get Jaylon in the building. Like, get that contract. It'd be great. And I know it won't happen now. It'd be great to see he sign today, Montez Sweat sign tomorrow. But you get what I'm saying, even if it's next week, where you knock it out and you take that narrative totally off the board. We're not even talking about it anymore for the remainder of the season. But I get, and I'll say this too, for Jaylon Johnson, he may just be tired of this shit. Like, does he come off like a player that doesn't care about winning? Like he may be, dog. Every month and a half, another coach is getting fired in that building, or let go, or resigning. It's like at some point what's that meme with the dog in the burning house, and he's like everything's cool. Like at some point you like, nah, dude, this house is on fire. Like let me grab my shit.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Yeah, so that's where it's kind of like it may be the point where one, think about this, all right? I always go to relationship analogies, right?
Yeah.
So let's think about this for anybody, male, women, whatever. You're dealing with somebody and you like them. You like them, you like them a lot, but you also kind of like, I see your red flags, but you know what? We can make this work. We can make it work. And you sit there and you give them the opportunity to commit. And then they like, I don't know about it. You're like, I was being nice to you, right? Like, how the hell you going?
Extending you the courtesy.
Yes, I'm extending this to you, and you gonna tell me you don't want me? Oh, for real? And then so now I'm supposed to come back? No, it's a wrap, and that may be how he feels. Where he's like, you know what? Y'all don't have y'all stuff together. Pay me. I like it here. I'll stay and see if we can make it work. And then when they don't want to give him the break, he's like, dude, I'm doing you a solid. You know what I'm saying? Like in these streets, teams want me in these streets. And again, someone's going to pay him. Don't get it too. They may not have wanted to trade a second round pick for him because those teams are like, yo, we can get him in the offseason. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably what happened. But yeah, man, I see his point. I wish that they had taken care of it. If he's not here next season, it's gonna be bad. They're gonna have to try to replace him, and they're gonna have to learn from this type of mistake. Ryan Poles is gonna have to learn. Sometimes, dog, you just gotta pay. You do. Like sometimes
quarterback's 18 mil. Cornerback going into this year, 18 mil. So it'll be probably close to 19 mil next year for the franchise tag. The transition tag, all right, that's 15.7, 15.79 mil. All right, you can transition tag him, say, all right, man, go. All right, and you know what? If I were Ryan Poles and I had to do it, I'm definitely signing Sweat. All right, I'll have to overpay for him, and again, that's the cost of doing business sometimes. And then I will transition tag or franchise tag. You know, just say, hey, just out of show of good faith, I'll franchise tag you. You know what I mean? I'll franchise tag you because it's 15 and it's 15.79, and if someone gives you more, well, I have the right to match it. You know, or you could just say, hey, you know what, bump it. I'll just give you, I'll instead of transition, I'll just give you the franchise at 18. All right, we don't even deal with the franchise.
The thing is, if they franchise him, no one's going to trade for him unless you remove the franchise tag, because you got to think about how much they would have to give you if you traded them. I'm with you. I'm be honest with you. I'm a franchise tag his ass so we can negotiate, because it's the same thing with Montez Sweat. I mean, like, but at least Sweat was a first round pick, even though it was the backside of the first round. You're a second round pick, buddy. You want to get some bread? You know what I'm saying? So I can hold you up a whole nother year from hitting that market, because I tagged your ass. So what you gonna do, right? Or you can use this as coming back to this table and talking to me. Let's solve this so that you can have some guaranteed money for you and your child, the stability that you have afforded yourself with the play that you've done on the field, that you've earned. He's earned a point to be at this point right now. But yeah, I'm going to use whatever I have in my toolkit as a general manager to keep that talent in my building and try to negotiate with that talent about, let's long-term do this. I'm not going to just let you walk. And look, there's nobody else on. Like, if we're all under the assumption that, look, sign Montez, they're going to sign Montez, you tag Jaylon.
You might even just tag him first. Say, hey, you know, we're tagging you. Montez, give me 1 second. Tag. Let's talk. You ain't going nowhere. We're talking.
Well, you can't risk Montez walking, because then now if you sit there and you don't tag Montez Sweat and he hasn't signed a contract, Ryan Poles will be the dumbest idiot on the planet, because you brought in this player on a bad team that's not going to make the playoffs. You brought this so this isn't for necessarily this season. I'm not saying he's not going to help this season, but we're talking about doing something this season as far as going after a chip. You can't. I know they're not mathematically out of it, but it's going to be somewhat difficult for them, even though I know they don't really play any real quarterbacks except, quote unquote, Derek Carr moving forward with all the injured QBs, teams with injured QBs they face moving down the line. You have to make sure Montez Sweat is here, because if he walks out and you gave up a 2, you may as well carry your ass on, Ryan Poles. You're like, you go, y'all get y'all stuff. Come on. Right, yep. You both of y'all, you and go that way. Get the hell out. Like, so you got to make sure.
Give your key card.
Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Give me that. You got to make sure. You got to make sure that he's there. You got to make sure he's there. So at that, it's Sweat first, then Jaylon. But the best case scenario, that you get Sweat signed within the next week. And I mean, it's still going to be bad. You still saw that Jaylon said, you know, and he should. If he gets signed and I don't get signed, and I've been here busting my ass, what does it say? Because you didn't draft him either. If the problem is you didn't draft me, you didn't draft Montez Sweat either. All right.
Yeah. No, I agree. You know, it's a slippery slope. And the one thing that is prevalent here is you can't just let good players keep walking away. All right. No. You traded Roquan Smith. All right. You traded Robert Quinn. You let Akeem Hicks walk. You got, Bilal Nichols is gone. I mean, think of all the people that you had, the talented players that you had, and you just let go.
James Daniels,
another one you let go. And how huge would he be now with his offensive line and our issue? You know what I mean? So, you know, there are people that you let go that just that you can't do that. If you want to be a good team, you just can't let and then what's it saying to your people? What's it saying to your guys in the locker room? They draft you, they develop you, and then we don't pay you. Well, yeah, that's kind of shitty. And then if that's the case, you know, what guys want to come here? Like, it's a lot is being said about is being watched about how this whole thing goes down. You know what? Hopefully they come out both same day, Montez Sweat and Jaylon Johnson. Or you know what? We got Montez Sweats. You know what? We're close with Jaylon Johnson for a PR standpoint. Hold off on this till tomorrow. We should get this thing done tomorrow.
Get Jaylon out.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll get it done, and then we'll sign both. We'll say, you know, on Friday or 3 days from now, both of you will announce it. I think that will be the best move for him because if Jaylon might be in his feelings. Okay, I get it. You know, but you can't. But here's the thing that I'm worried. I'm wondering though, Ken. He said it publicly. Okay, obviously could be public, private, two different things. But he said, he goes, I'm not trying to, reset the market. I'm not trying to, yeah. So then where's the discord at? You know what I mean? Where I'm trying to figure out where their numbers are at, where how big that gap is. Because does he want 18 mil? Because he wants stuff that Diggs got from Dallas, and I don't remember what he got. So
he don't get those picks like Diggs. Diggs gets those picks.
Yeah. Jaylon Diggs, what's his name? It's not Stefan.
No, it's his brother. It's what's the name? No, what's the one with the Bills?
Stefan.
So then it's Jaylon. No, it's not. I don't know.
Trevon Diggs.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say Trevon, but
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds ridiculous. I won't say that.
Yeah, Trevon. Okay, yeah, Trevon Diggs, and he's looking because they're picked pretty close to each other, so he's looking at, yeah. But then again, he's got 18 interceptions. All right, so you're not going to get that type of money, and yeah,
He's playing with. I'll say this: he's playing with a lot better pass rush too. Trevon Diggs, if you think about what the type of that pressure that Dallas has been able to put on teams, even before Michael Parsons got there, but even when you add Michael Parsons.
So what happens if he gets 4 more picks this year? All right, because of Montez Sweat, now
it helps him out. It helps him out when he goes out there in free agency. If the Bears are going to let him walk, it adds to another team's reasoning when they tell their fan base why they gave Jaylon as much money as they gave him. Look, I hope Jaylon gets what he wants. I love the Bears, but I know how wonky things can be, and sometimes it's better to get up out of there to save your legacy. But I would prefer him to be in Chicago, but he deserves to get paid. Like, outside of that shoulder that's been an issue since college, he's been there. But and you can't. Injuries happen, so I'm not saying that as trying to take a dig at him. I'm just pointing it out. But when you're talking about the type of locker room cat, the leader, the no BS dude, the North Star, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a guy that is like you want your players to follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's that type of guy, and you have him. So why let him go? They said this as I get back on my soapbox. You told me I couldn't have Jalen Carter because you didn't have the type of vets that you needed in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got Jalen becoming even a better veteran. You brought in Montez Sweat. So can we now bring in some troubled guys that can do some things? But you can't tell me out of one side of your mouth, my locker room is too young to bring in somebody like that and then let veterans walk. You can't do that. Which way do you want to have it?
It's a great point.
Because Jalen Carter should be a damn Bear. I'm sorry.
So I said it earlier, and I said the Bears are sticking with Justin Fields, and I know what, and I've had plenty of conversations about it, and here's why. So I'm looking at Justin. All right, of course he's got to do something. Right, Justin. That whole Sunday Night Football thing where they're like, oh, they're leaking information there's some things that Tyson does better, and that's get rid of the ball quicker. That's read quicker. All right. That's make decisions quicker. All right. For whatever reason. All right. And I think it's because the biggest thing is he's had 2,000 snaps in college, bro. That's his junior year. He had more snaps than Justin had, more pass attempts. Excuse me. He had more pass attempts than Justin had his last 2 years at Ohio State. That says something. All right,
yeah,
because there's not a lot of situations. There's not a lot of situations you haven't been in. You
got
know
to
what I mean?
remember the pandemic. You got to add the pandemic to that too. Remember the Big Ten and ACC only played. They didn't play their usual allotment of games because they weren't going to play until Justin and Trevor Lawrence and a bunch of players came out and said they wanted to play. Which, if Justin never did, he would have been the second pick in that draft because they used that season against him. If you really go back and think about it, but I'm just adding to that. He didn't. His second year, he didn't play a full season. Basically, not saying it changes what you're saying about Tyson Bagent.
Right. So, but I think there's some things he needs to do, but there's some things that he does well. And so I was like, let me look at some stats. And here's my question. So I'm gonna give you these stats, and we'll see. Guess what quarterback this is? So this quarterback has, for 17 games, his season had 90. You see it 90.9 QBR, 3,000 yards passing, 12, 4, 26. All right. That's a good one. I think if Justin hits those, that's good. All right. If Justin hit this in a season, would you take those?
Wait, I mean, because this is like a trick question, right? Because the only thing, like, if this, this has to be Lamar Jackson. If it's not, like, who else could this be if it's not Justin? Or what? Like, you said 17. Yeah, that's what I said. You're not getting me with that. You're not getting me with that.
But what I'm saying is this. So you saw what he's done in 17 games. Okay. This is what he's done in one season. And think of the season that he's had. All right, 2-15. When you actually got rid of all the defense, you got rid of Roquan, you got rid of Robert Quinn, you got rid of Bilal Nichols, you got rid of everybody. You cut it down to the studs, and you still had 6, 7 one-score games because of this guy. Now you got some better help on defense. Defense against the run went from 31st in the league to like 2nd or 3rd now in the league. All right, this defense is getting better under Flus. The offense just needs to get healthy. And my biggest thing is Getsy needs to call plays to help him like he did last year. I think you stay with Justin Fields. I think this
is if you get the first pick in the draft, you're saying?
Yes. And trade it for a Hall.
You are bugging. You are bugging now. No. You are totally. I love this. First of all, I love me some Justin Fields. Never get it twisted. The same thing I said about Jaylon as far as hoping that he finds a place is great for him. I hope Arthur Smith brings Justin in, and this is if the Bears move off of him. I'm gonna say this: if they don't have the top pick, you keep Justin. It's not even you have to. It's not even a question. All right, you keep Justin. And I'm not even, and it's funny. So we had Adam Amin on this week's show, right? And I had to take shots at Josh because Adam Amin basically was like, listen, it's Caleb Williams or you stay with Justin. And that's what I've been saying. I'm not the Drake May guy. Now, I'm not saying, and I could be wrong. And if they take Drake May and he's a stud, great. But Caleb Williams is the type of dude I'm fearful of moving off of, Shawn. I'm going to just be honest with you. And look, I like our guy. I was like, I've been watching college football this year, and I'm like, man, who the hell is this Caleb Williams, right? Anytime it's hype, I come in like that. I never come in like, yeah. I come in like, yeah, right. Let me go look at this or whatever, right? So I'm watching, I'm like, And yes, he's had some games where they've lost, and he's had a bad game and a half. But I'm like, yo, all that last year, people was like, yeah, he kind of like Patrick Mahomes. I was like, don't you disrespect baby goat. Don't you ever in your life say somebody's like Patrick Mahomes. He got a little of that Patrick Mahomes on him. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes. Got a little of that Patrick Mahomes on for him. And also, it resets the deck. For a guy like him who may be generational, Shawn, and you get to reset the quarterback window, and now think about it. If you sit there, you sign Jaylon, you sign Montez Sweat, but when you do that, you think in 2 years you may have to pay Justin, or really after next season, you like, man, I may have to give Justin that deal. Don't let him have a great year. I may have to give him that deal where now you can be like, yo, clear the deck. And I'm saying this, it's only if you get number one. If you don't get number one, you do all that stuff you talking about. But if you get number one, you can't move off of Caleb Williams, man. In my opinion, you can't move off of him. Like he passing wise, he's better than Justin at this point, and he's in college. Imagine, and he can move. He's not as fast as Justin, but he done got a lot of. I've seen a lot of 30 and 40 yard TDs scrambles from him too. You know what I'm saying? But very few people and under center are as fast as Justin Fields, right? But I'm just saying, look, and I love Justin, but at that point, my love is out the window. I may have to go with what's best for me.
Yeah, I can't say he's better than Justin because he hasn't played a snap in the NFL. So I'll put Justin's numbers.
I'm saying
saying,
passing. Shawn, wait. I'm talking about passing from angles off platform. You go back and think about Justin Ohio State, that offensive line, and how many times did Justin have to throw off platform on scramble? That's what I'm saying. I get your point. He's never played in the pros, but Shawn, what he can do with the ball in his hand, Justin can't do that yet. He can't do that yet.
I disagree. Give me some throws that he can't make. There's throws he's going to the left.
Not consistent. Not consistent like this guy. This guy is look. I'm gonna tell you what may be a problem. I'll stop after this.
He's received. Go ahead. You go finish it.
What may be a problem with Caleb is how well are you going to be with scripted plays? But I think he'll be fine, right? But dog, as far as throwing from anywhere and connecting, it's not. This dude is different. He's different. He's different, man. And I came in and Shawn like, I don't believe you. You need more people. All right. That's how I came into this case. And I watched him. I'm like, yeah, dude, this kid right here. And it's not to say he has to have warts. I like my QBs at least 6'3". He's 6'1". Because I'm about to be 6'2" and under. You can't play for my team. I'm for real. I'm getting close to it. But for Caleb Williams, I will. Come here, baby. Come on up in here, man. We mess with you.
There hasn't been a throw that he hasn't been able to make. And the thing about it in the pros, I'm talking Justin. The problem is who's he throwing to? Who's catching it? All right, he's had some phenomenal throws where he's thrown left. He's had phenomenal throws where he's thrown right. He had phenomenal throws where he's thrown off his back foot. He's had throws where he had to go sidearm. He's made all these throws in the pros. Now, do his receivers catch them? If it's incomplete, well, then no one highlights that throw because it was incomplete. This guy is as good as anybody if given the talent. He doesn't have talent. You look at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams got talent at SC. Justin Fields had talent at Ohio State. Justin Fields took them to the national championship game. This guy there's no reason for me. I think Justin would here. I think with this guy, if you call the plays, and here's a big part of it. If you call plays that's at center around his skill set, this dude can be special in the league, not special.
I'm not.
The biggest thing for me is I need Getsy to get on board, because if you want to save your job, okay, then I see that the Bears maybe do that. They see the Bears trade him because if they give it to Getsy, they say, okay, we get a new coach, get a new quarterback, fine. If they keep Getsy and they keep Eberflus,
you want them to keep. First of all, for me,
I don't. But I'm saying
if Eberflus stays, Getsy should still be gone, in my opinion.
I want Jim Harbaugh.
Okay, but see, my thing is this. I know you, and I know some of these cats just from the chats, y'all fall in love hard. You told me Kobe White, who else did you say was the core back then? I don't even know if P. Will was here. And I said, Shawn, do you know what you're saying is the core of your team? You fall hard. Look, and this is to be honest with y'all. Let's just say they're both as good. They're both really good players, Justin and Caleb Williams, all right, equal. Let's just say they're the same guy, all right? If we're being honest, the fact that you get a clear 4 years and we know to win titles, it's best to try to do it on a QB's rookie deal. Unfortunately, with what they did, I'm talking about Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, they've messed with Justin. They wasted a season. Then the Bears started to rebuild. They almost wasted another year, but we saw highlights from him proving how good he can be at times. But if they're the same guy, and I'm telling you, I don't think they're the same guy, all right? If they're the same guy, you may as well go with the guy that's younger and cheaper if they're the same guy. That's all I'm even saying. But I don't think they're the same guy. I think Caleb Williams, if he stays healthy, is going to be a dude in this league. I'm telling you that right now. And I'm laughing. I don't like saying it. I would prefer in my heart, and I thought this before Justin got hurt. I was all ready to go Caleb. And I was like, man, I like the storyline of Justin fighting back against Chicago, because usually Chicago takes you down with the sucking, and we mess up careers here. I like it if Justin's like, no, I'm gonna come out on the other side and I'm gonna show you Chicago can't even stop me. I'm like, yo, I like it. But then he got hurt. And now you have weeks of we don't get to see how he's progressed. Now we have to wait till he comes back, and can he consistently do what he needs to do? But again, and I don't think the Bears are going to get the number 1 pick. Let me say that too. I think they're definitely not going to get it from their own pick now, because the Bears are going to now how the schedule. You say what?
I said, yeah, they'll win more games. Go ahead.
They're going to win more games now because they don't play. Look, Jordan Love is trash, even though he may still get that second game. But Minnesota's done. Minnesota's done.
Goff's done. Was Goff in Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit. But okay, so what? They lose to Detroit. Okay, cool. But now when you look at the teams, Dobbs, the Bears could have beaten the Cardinals, even though the Cardinals play hard, but Dobbs is gone. So if Kyler Murray isn't there, the Bears are gonna kill them. They don't kill the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? Like they got now.
What if they lose to the Panthers?
That'd be doubly messed up. That'd be doubly messed up. But like, so I don't even think, I don't know if the Panthers are gonna be bad enough, because there's no reason for the Panthers outside of their second round pick to say like, yeah, we're gonna get the Bears the best chance of getting the first. No, they should be out there busting their ass as hard as possible, because they're not gonna get their pick this year. So we may as well sell out. That's the thing. But I'll lay on following that sword. If they have the number 1 pick, even though I have an affinity for him, he got to go to Atlanta, and he's gonna have a terrific career in Atlanta. Like, but I got to do what I got to do, because I don't know, man. That dude. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I like him, and there's something about that has me worried, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it with Caleb Williams. It's not his talent. His talent is second to none. It's something else that's bugging me, maybe about him, something that's got me a little leery. All right.
What? So you don't even know, but it's just something, right?
No,
I don't know what it is.
It's a gut feeling that I have. I don't know with this, especially with a lot of these new athletes, these younger athletes. Like, first of all, this has nothing to do with it, but like the rumors, and these are only rumors, and we don't know about him wanting ownership. His dad's talking about him wanting ownership. Like, come on, stop the nonsense before it even gets there. All right, it can't happen. So stop.
That's BS. No rookie. So look, first of all, define ownership. Ownership as far as this offense ownership. He's not getting ownership in the NFL.
No, he can't.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
That you play for.
Exactly. But why would the owners? Because if anybody was going to do it, the Kansas City would have done it. All right. Like if anybody was over a barrel in the last decade, or Robert Kraft would have done it. Right. Like if anybody, so that's not happening. So again, now to use these narratives as a reason to not want a player. Dog, I don't care if he wants to own the whole damn team if he give me some Super Bowls. What the hell? Like you just said, know what you said earlier? I don't care about their money. It's not my money. I don't care about their ownership. It's not my team. No, I don't care. No. And again, I don't believe that's not going to happen, one. So it's far-fetched if it's true. But it's just one of those things where, okay, I'm not going to like him because it is. Man, listen, do y'all want to win consistently? Long term, and I'm not saying you can't do that with Justin. So don't take this as I'm dissing Justin. I'm not. This isn't a diss Justin thing. It's what best helps the Bears long term that they can't mess up, because they mess things up. And in that, a kid on a rookie contract that's nice can help the Bears. So that, again, regardless of if I love Justin or not, I want to win Super Bowls consistently. That's what I want to at least go to him. I want to see him. And now you reset the deck with someone who could be better than Justin, perhaps. I think he will be, depending on what team Justin ends up on, if the Bears moved off of him or whatever. I'll tell you this, depending on where Caleb Williams lands, if he's not a Bear, and if the Bears hold on to Justin with how they mess things up, I don't know how that goes. But I'm looking for someone who could buck the badness of the Bears. And that's what part of the reason in that. Again, like I said, I don't think they're going to get the first pick. So basically, I'm with you on I want to go move forward with Justin, but I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, yo, but if they got that first pick, they should still move on. Hell no, because these quarterbacks, like I say, Drake May, I diss Drake May, right? And I don't think Shadour's coming out this year.
No.
But if you look at these quarterbacks this year compared to last year's quarterbacks, and the only quarterback I would have drafted last year was CJ Stroud, because Bryce Young was too small. You know, heard my rule earlier. Bryce Young was too small. I was all in on CJ Stroud. I'm not playing with, give me the mini quarterback. No, I'm not doing that. I've said it before. I would have been out on Kyler Murray, and I know now it looks like he's immature. I'm talking about even when Kyler Murray was looking good, I was like, that boy bad, but I wanted to draft him. And I can own that.
Too small for me, yeah. Too small for me.
He's too small. But if you look at these quarterbacks this year, you can't just walk away and be like, nah, I'm good. You got to really think. Last year's quarterbacks, I saw that, and I was like, well, you don't want to move off of Justin and bring in CJ. CJ played it well and said he didn't want to come here. This is Justin's team. But he was the only one that I would have been like, But this year, they got one that's like, no. Hey, baby, put your mama on the phone.
See, and here's what I did, man. Even if my thing is you go get a haul, because you're going to get everyone and their mama's going to want Caleb Williams. So which means you get to dictate what you want. Now you get to shop that pick for the highest bidder. So you can get 2 number ones, one this year, one next year, maybe even a third, because you only trade 3, or maybe 2 firsts and 2 seconds, and a player, because we already know we've seen how Ryan Poles likes to operate. So whoever wants that team or that pick, like, okay, good. Well, I'm gonna need this guy. All right, here's, you know what I'm saying? Like he did with DJ Moore. Actually, he didn't want DJ Moore as a third person. He wanted Burns and somebody else. I can't remember who the other person was. And then they said, no. They said, okay, well, we'll take DJ Moore for Justin. Cool. You're going to get picks and a player. So you mean to tell me with 4 or 5 picks and building around, so you got your left, say you get a left tackle, say you get Olu, and he turns out good. Say you get Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, now all of a sudden, we've established what we needed on defense. We've gotten people on defense. We just got Montez Sweat. We got these youngsters who are looking much better. I'm talking Gervon Dexter's starting to look rather nicey as a D lineman. He's starting to develop. He's top of all rookie DTs. He's top 5 in almost every category. So you start building the offense. You build the O line.
Who's that you talking about again? Say that part. I'm sorry.
Gervon Dexter. Here it is among rookie DTs. All right, since week 5, he's first in overall grade. All right, and these are nice numbers, but I'm not just looking at the numbers because I'm not a numbers guy per se. I like watching the player. I'm a little old school. I have the eye test. This dude's playing. He's penetrating. He's making tackles. He's stopping the run. I'm very impressed with him and how quickly, because I didn't know how well because of his college, the scheme that he had in college. This guy's going to be a force. He's going to be one of those guys that is going to be a big part if we get to the Super Bowl, or I should say when we get to the Super Bowl, he'll be a big part of that defense. We've established defense. Now we're going to offense. And I think you got DJ Moore, you get a Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, and a left tackle to keep Justin upright. Man, this thing could happen maybe a year sooner.
Okay, so how often are y'all going to keep moving off of the best player in the draft on a team that always needs to get great players? You can't every year. Last year, it made sense because Justin was better than those quarterbacks, in my opinion, even though I'd have been tempted with CJ Stroud. Last year, it made sense. I don't even know if you can do that with Drake May, and I'm not the Drake May guy. Like, you can't. It's sometimes if somebody, I saw someone miss this. I don't want to mispronounce your names.
Shorty.
Shorty.
Yeah.
Shorty. Mr. Shorty. Most QBs are divas. So with that's damn near a prerequisite of a quarterback. So, like, if we're saying that we mad at him because his daddy said he want ownership, and that's the reason we mad at him, we being petty. I want y'all to know that we're really being petty because we like, I like my guy. And that's my point. We get so hard up on I like my guy, and sometimes you don't look, and it may be a better guy, and sometimes it's still cool to hold on to your guy. But I'm just saying, this year, if you get number 1, look, put it like this, Shawn. I'm gonna be more frank. If Ryan Poles gets the first pick in the draft, it doesn't matter what you or I think. He's going to draft Caleb Williams. That's the truth. If he gets the number 1 pick, he's going to draft Caleb Williams. And for all we know, if he gets the number 2 pick, he may be big on Drake May. All right. But if he gets, I'll tell you, if he lands on number 1, Justin Fields is not long for Chicago. He's not. And I will say, and I've said it on here, it's probably the right move to make. Will I miss Justin? Will I root for Justin? Yes. But in wanting the Bears to do what's optimally best for them, it may be time. And also, it just may be time to let Justin be free of this mess here in Chicago. Like, it's been a lot. Like, he's been through two bad regimes, two bad coaching staffs and regimes until Post proves totally different. But two terrible coaching staffs. I mean, if you even look at it and think, well, okay, this coaching staff has been better. They have people resigning left and right. Like, this is ridiculous what's taking place here. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and again, shout out to Ryan Poles. What he said as far as, we could have just swept this under the rug, but it'll be harder to put it out there. But that's what we should do. Yes, I hope that you're building a program to where people know that work in that place, there's no nonsense, and you will be held to a standard that some organizations don't hold people to. We let people do and say whatever they want to say, depending on how well they're performing. A lot of places do that, not in sports, just in general, right? But again, to me, it makes more sense, and not even if it makes more sense to my point, that's what Ryan Poles is going to do if he gets the first pick in the draft. He's out. He's out.
Well, we'll have to see that first of all if we get the first pick, and then then you're thinking that, because I still think that you get him and you bring in and if he doesn't get the first pick, well then that point is moot, and then at that point I definitely fire for sure. I mean, this should be gone anyway, but fire them and I go get Jim Harbaugh because he ain't gonna be in Michigan. His boy JJ McCarthy's gonna go to the NFL, and I know he's done some shady stuff there, but he's a Bear.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care about no shady stuff in college.
Oh, yeah.
You can do as much shady stuff as you want. Yeah, I don't care about that. I was going to say, I said this to Josh this week, and he told me no. I said, watch Josh McDaniels get fired, and that's going to hurt the Bears if they want to go after Harbaugh. And he was like, no, Mark doesn't have that much money because he's still paying Gruden. Next day, in the morning, Josh McDaniels fired. And that's one of those places I would look out as far as Jim Harbaugh perhaps landing. I'm with you. I'm all for bringing Jim Harbaugh up in here.
You know why I got him? Because now he could go talk to Chico and be like, hey, you want to come back and be a DC? No, you do? Great. Chicago Bears lead us. You don't? Respect, no problem. Leslie Frazier, how about you? You're another Bear. Come back, DC. We got Bears to lead this Bears franchise, this organization into what could be a perennial playoff run. And I like, and the thing I like most about Harbaugh is he's worked with a quarterback like Justin. He's worked with Colin Kaepernick. He got them to a Super Bowl. If it wasn't for a phenomenal super pass and catch in the corner of the end zone, they would have won that Super Bowl. All right. So that had nothing to do with them. He's comfortable. Justin is one of those talents that you have to coach different. He's not your regular stand back and drop back quarterback. He can be, but you don't take that weapon, his legs, away from him. Use those things to help enhance the fact that he is a pocket passer. And that's what I think Ryan Getsy hasn't done. He hasn't used those legs to enhance him being a passer. Justin's got to play better. I will never stray away from that. It's not all right Getsy's fault. Justin has to play better, but Getsy needs to hold him accountable. I hate his lackadaisical drop back. I hate his holding the ball too long. You've got the old saying, you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. And him going back half-assed and him holding the ball too damn long and him not running it means you're allowing it. Or are you coaching him to say don't run? Because if you are, then you're the culprit, and that's bad. That's bad for business.
I'm just going to say this. I cannot wait if they do, and I said I don't think they will, if they get the first pick in the draft, how quickly most of y'all become Caleb Williams fans. I'm telling you. I can't wait.
I have to be. My buddy, one of my boys from college, one of my running back friends, college is his high school coach.
Okay. Well, no, you just. I mean, that he's gonna be like, it will be fast. All right, where it'll be like, yo, like it will be again. I went into this like F Caleb Williams, right? Anytime I went real quick, so we got here. Joakim Noah. I remember going to scout, look at Joakim Noah, and I'm like, man, this kid ain't shit. And then I go watch it. I'm like, wait, he awkward, but damn, he can handle the ball. He tenacious. And I do this with Adrian Peterson. I remember they talking about this kid can play in the pros. Damn, he can play. Like, I went into it skeptical as hell on Caleb Williams. I do this with everybody, Shawn. You have to switch my position on you. You have to change it.
And we got to
That's
go.
it.
Bye-bye. Hey, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Back
I
at you, bro.
appreciate it. Hey, we'll be soon. We got to get together, bro. I told you I got something for you. I got a present. It's sitting
All right.
up here in my room.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do something in one of these weekends. Let's meet up before it starts snowing real bad.
All right, bet. All right, guys. From everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. We are out. Have a great weekend.